Welcome. Before we start the meeting, we'll have a prayer by Councilwoman Laura Ward, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here this evening to make decisions for our community, we give thanks for the opportunity to serve our citizens. Guide us to act with character and wisdom, to listen with understanding and goodwill, and to use our resources wisely in order to represent our citizens fairly. May we recognize our responsibility to the past and the future and the rights and needs of our community. As always, we pray for you to watch over and protect our nation's military and their families and who serve around the world. Bring them home safely. As our own first responders, watch over us and respond to the needs in our community. Please keep them alert and always ready. Keep them sharp, confident, and prepared in every way. As our flag is flown at half-mast across our nation, may our unified prayers bring some comfort and strength to the victims of last week's tragic school shooting in Florida, especially to the mothers and fathers of those who lost their precious children. Guide us in unity to seek the courage to begin steps to address the prevention of these tragedies. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Monday, February 19th, 2018 City Council meeting. And at this time, I'll call the meeting to order. And Mrs. Donaldson, roll call, please.
Fitzwater.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Hussey.
Here.
Kimna. Here. Mahalovich. Prather.
Here.
Schreiber.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
Wiseman.
Present.
Is there item 3, a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 4, miscellaneous agenda items. We get to recognize at this time our February Outstanding Employee Service Award recipient, Melissa Berry. And we'll start with Mr. Steve Kroll giving a presentation.
And I will have Ms. come forward, and I will have Lieutenant McCutcheon come forward. And I will also note that Karen Jennings is here, that manages the department, and several other fans and family, and let you introduce them in a few minutes. So this is congratulations to Melissa Berry, City of Jefferson Veterinarian Assistant, Animal Control Division in the Police Department, for receiving the City of Jefferson Outstanding Employee Service Award for February 2018. The recognition is not only for specific examples referenced in the nomination form, but also in recognition of all the service Ms. Berry provides to the citizens of Jefferson City on an ongoing basis. So I'll summarize some of the information that was provided in the various nomination forms. Ms. Berry is perpetually productive, multitasking, and efficient when caring for shelter animals, which lays the foundation of providing exceptional customer service. When interacting with members of the public, Ms. Berry is always thoughtful, direct, and honest, and as such, is an asset to the department and the city. Ms. Berry goes beyond and above and often emotionally and physically demanding requirements of caring for and evaluating the shelter animals. Ms. Berry also takes on the task of photographing the adoptable animals using her exceptional photography skills to promote animals for adoption in an effort to ensure speedy placement of adoptable animals. Ms. Berry's duties are more than fulfilling the operational requirements of the position. She truly cares about finding homes for adoptable animals. Ms. Berry's follow-through on projects, tasks, and commitments is excellent. Ms. Berry's significant contributions to the overall quality of life in the city are recognized and appreciated. So congratulations and thanks to Melissa Berry, City of Jefferson Veterinarian Assistant, Animal Control Division, and the Police Department for receiving the City of Jefferson Outstanding Employee Service Award for February 2018. Congratulations. You have some family members here you want to introduce?
I do. That's my son, Harlan. Matt Berry, who's the Animal Control Officer. Also, Sam's here. He's the Animal Control Officer. Dr. Field, Isaac, and Karen Jennings.
And a future employee? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Future employee. And I also thank you all for allowing me to do what I do. I really enjoy working with the animals and at the shelter. And while I accept this award, you know, I'm one person representing all of these people that work hard every single day and are dedicated to the citizens of Jefferson City as well. So thank you.
Great job.
Congratulations and thank you. The animal shelter is very near and dear to our hearts here in Jefferson City, and we appreciate your outstanding service to our community. And we'd love to get a picture, so if you want to come forward and McCutcheon, everybody, and as well as family and colleagues can also come forward too.
Four, five, six. There you go. Oh, I thought that was Santa.
Thank you for being here too. Congratulations again. Very, very happy. All right, congratulations again. Item B, we have a buckle up, phone down presentation, and this is a follow-up to a presentation from Missouri Municipal League. We met here in Jefferson City last week, and I was thankful to have the opportunity to present this buckle up, phone down initiative. And so I wanted to go over it here and share it with council as well. So the next slide here is actually a video, so we'll start off with the video.
I had two of my best friends and called me as passengers. They tell me as I was passing somebody on a hill, and I peeked over the hill, and my car, it was nearly head-on, so I jerked it over as far as I could, and assuming the other driver did. And we met driver-driver impact, nearly head-on is what they called it. My door fell off sometime in an accident mid-roll. I rolled like 4 or 5 times. If my seatbelt would have been on, there's no way I would have been in the vehicle. It would have been in multiple pieces by that time, I'm sure. 3 seconds for me to put that seatbelt on, and it saved the rest of my life. It saved Haley, my sister, from having to go to her brother's funeral or not having there, all the important parts of her life. No matter what I did wrong that night, because I did a lot of things wrong that night, but I put my seatbelt on, I had my passengers put theirs on. That saved their lives, and that saved my life.
Take 3 seconds. Like he said, it only takes 3 seconds, and buckle your seatbelt. 6 out of 10 people killed in Missouri traffic crashes were unbuckled in 2017. And while we're talking about this, is that Missouri has no primary safety belt law, and only 9 states rank lower in safety belt use. So having no primary law, we have a secondary law in Missouri, meaning that you have to be pulled over for a prior offense in order to be ticketed. So you can't be ticketed for simply not wearing your seatbelt. So this initiative isn't telling people to wear your seatbelt. Certainly, whether you get in the car and wear it or not, with a primary law, it just means you can be ticketed if you choose not to wear it. In 2017, Missouri's safety belt rate is 84%, which is lower than the national average of 90%. So buckle up and phone down. The next slide is phone down. Missouri is one of only 3 states with an no all driver texting ban. We're one of only 3 states that does not ban drivers from texting. It's only if you're under 21 in the state of Missouri. Preliminary 2016 data indicates cell phones were involved in 2,379 crashes, a 23% increase from 2014. You are 23 times more likely to be in a critical incident when a driver texts and drives. A couple more facts. Texting increases the risk of a car crash by 50%. And a controlled driving simulator study conducted by the University of Utah found that drivers using cell phones had a slower reaction time than drivers with a .08 blood alcohol content, the legal intoxication limit. So how can we get involved as cities and communities? What can we do? Take the Buckle Up Phone Down Challenge. We've all done that here. The city of Jefferson has taken Buckle Up Phone Down. It's easy. You just go to modot.org and take the challenge for your organization. Jefferson City has done it. Cole County has done that. I've done it personally. I know most of our council members have also done it personally. It only takes a moment to take the pledge that you will buckle up and phone down every time you're in the car. Advocate among your employees and within your community. It's up to all of us to advocate that this is what we need to do. Pass a resolution supporting the Buckle Up Phone Down initiative, and we did that here in October. We had Buckle Up Phone Down Day, and the City Council passed a resolution supporting that. Host a community or media event for Buckle Up Phone Down, and we did that here last Wednesday here in the city of Jefferson. We had a news briefing with student Jalen Butler from Boonville High School, who was hit in a head-on collision, and he showed the pictures of the car crash, and he knows that the only reason he is alive is that he took the 3 seconds to put on his seatbelt. He was a passenger in a vehicle. And we're thankful that Jalen is here today, and he has the scars to prove it, that wearing the seatbelt saved his life. We also had Jennifer Peck from Missouri Employees Mutual from Columbia here to speak about the importance of Buckle Up, Phone Down, and several mayors were here that day to support. Another thing you can do is get involved with the Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety. You can get a weekly fatality statistics wake-up call in your inbox. It tells you how many fatalities have been in our district, in our area, around the state. And what about Phone Down Friday? You can take action for just a day and start a habit. So if you look up the hashtag Phone Down Friday, you'll start seeing that. And it's just a way to start the habit, because the habit right now is you hear your phone ding in the car and the first thing you do is look at the notification or feel the need to either read it or respond. So if we can start Phone Down Friday and take that day that you put the phone in your back seat, in the glove compartment, wherever you have to put it so that you're not tempted to look at it, we hope that Phone Down Friday will become a habit for people. The next slide is another video that we'll close with.
If I get a text, I look at my phone. It's definitely texting.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. I do Snapchat and drive sometimes. I've only never done it at stoplights. I'm also really good about it.
The passenger has a pretty important role driving now, where they're like, oh, red light, red light.
If someone that you like texts you, you can't just let it sit there without just knowing what they said.
Like, every time I do it, I think about it, I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I just keep doing it. So I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine.
My name's JC. Hi, Alexis.
Oh, Dash. Jefferson, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I just really quickly want to have a chat and tell you what happened to me. I was 21 years old, driving home from my college graduation ceremony. Driver on his phone was so distracted. He turned left into the intersection at a red light. Another car, an 18-wheeler, swerved to miss him and hit my family's car. And the resulting collision actually killed both of my parents. I spent 2 months in the hospital fighting for my own life, and then 2 more months in a rehab hospital, learning how to walk again, learning how to speak again, learning how to dress myself and how to feed myself. I live with a partially paralyzed body. I met my daddy to walking down the aisle when I got married. You know this is real. You know, the power to really actually make a difference and do something about it. Thank you.
It can wait. 6 out of 10 people in Missouri traffic crashes were unbuckled in 2017. Only 9 states rank lower than Missouri in safety belt use. Missouri is one of only 3 states with a no all driver texting ban, and texting increases the risk of a car crash by 50%. These numbers that we've covered tonight are staggering and deadly. We've all heard excuses like personal freedoms, choices, and exactly which distractions will be banned, and how will they enforce it anyway, and does it really matter if it's the law because people won't follow it anyway? Well, clearly 47 other states have figured that out. As mayors, as council members, as elected officials, we can't just throw our hands up while drivers have their hands on their phones instead of the wheel. Please take 3 seconds and buckle up and put your phone down. The Missouri Mayors United for Progress, when we met last week, voted to strongly ask legislators to enact a primary safety belt law and an all-driver texting ban. In addition, several mayors have taken steps in their own communities, including Mayor Sly James from Kansas City, Mayor Ken McClure from Springfield, which just enacted a primary seatbelt law 2 weeks ago, and Florissant Mayor Tom Schneider, who likes to be called a bupped head, as in B-U-P-D, bupped, buckle up, phone down. So I want to take a moment to share that information with you because it's a chance that we have as council members to really make a difference. When I saw that video, I cried myself to sleep that night when I saw it. I don't know how you couldn't watch that and not be emotionally touched by it and realize the epidemic and realize that people do take it so lightly because we're so used to being on the phone and saying things like the passenger watches for red lights and those sort of things so that the driver can text. It's very scary. So we're taking it very seriously and asking our legislators to enact enact an all-driver texting ban. We are one of 3 states that doesn't have it, and I hope that Missouri is not the last state to enact it. It is something we cannot enact at the city level because state law does not allow us to pass a law to ban cell phone use while driving, so we do have to rely on the state to do that. However, on this primary seatbelt law, that is something that many communities have done. In fact, about 26% of the state is under a primary law, so that is something, if council so desires in the future, could certainly have that discussion and bring to a future public safety meeting, perhaps. But for now, I just hope that we all do what we can to advocate and to encourage lawmakers to listen to our voices and do the same. So thank you for letting me make the presentation, and are there any council follow-up after that? Councilman? Yes, 26% of the state is currently under a primary seatbelt law, and I'll make sure, in fact, I'll send that information out. There is a link on the MoDOT website that has the current list. Like I mentioned, Springfield just went 2 weeks ago. There are several counties and cities that are included, so it encompasses about 26% of the state of Missouri's population. Most of those cities that are under, most of the St. Louis and Kansas City area, Springfield, so a lot of the larger areas are. So the cities have realized the seriousness of it, and kind of on that note, Mayor Sly James, that really has taken the lead on our Mayors United for Progress, was asked by a reporter at the press conference of, he's a Democrat, other mayors were Republican, how is it that they both decided to enact a primary law in their cities? And Mayor James said it very well, that the seatbelt doesn't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, your nationality, your background, whatever you are, that it kind of treats us all the same in an accident. So he summarized it very well. Any other comments? All right, so remember, buckle up, phone down, and remember your phone down Fridays, and be a BUPD head. So, all right, thank you all. And item 5, we have public hearings. Item A, rezoning, 4.76 acres of land. I'll let Mrs. Donaldson read the rest.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Jefferson by rezoning 4.98 acres of land addressed as 734 South Country Club Drive from RS1 low-density residential to PUD planned unit development and approving a preliminary PUD plan for said property.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As the clerk indicated, this is a rezoning case and also a approval of a preliminary PUD plan. The property is located, get my cursor here. Right. That's not me. It's that black hashed area off of Country Club, right next to the Country Club there. It's about half a mile from the interchange of Truman, South Country Club, and US 50. I'd like to point out that the zoning of the area is RS1 single family, and that's the same zoning as most of the area around there. There was no commercial zoning available in that area. If you notice, there's PUD and commercial over to the west and, east and northeast, and it was felt best to go to a planned unit development zoning as opposed to a commercial zoning, so that we know exactly what will be developed in that area. The property is currently owned by the the Cole County Anhydrous Association, and the applicant is the Missouri Soybean Association. Here's a little bit close-up of the property. It's just a little bit south of, I believe, Fairway is the first road to the north, and on the opposite side of the road, the Country Club golf course is to the north, and to the east is a one piece of property with a house on it, and then more of the Country Club golf course facilities. Here's a graphic of the plan. There's supposed to be approximately a 1,400 square foot a building with conference and exhibit areas and office space. There's a 3,000 square foot maintenance building over to the, I'll say, northeast side of the parking lot. The facility is designed for events to showcase what the soybean industry has and what their members produce and things like that. There's going to be buffering along the road by the parking lot, and also there's a 10-foot wide greenway that will be built as part of the plan too, along the street there. The stormwater detention is preliminarily shown on the plat. That would be adequate to meet the city standards in terms of stormwater. A traffic study is not required based on the number of employees they plan to have there at the facility and the square footage, using an engineering methodology that is standard on all these types of plans. And let me show you a picture of what it's going to look like. There's a rendering, very attractive building. They will actually be planting soybeans on the area as for display and learning purposes and things like that. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions, and we also have representatives from the consultant and the Missouri Soybean Association, which might be able to add to my presentation.
Thank you. Before we open the hearing, are there any questions of council? Okay, at this time we'll open the public hearing for Bill 2017-112. Is there anyone here that would like to come forward and speak? Welcome.
Thank you. I'm a short guy, so thanks for having me this evening. My name is Gary Wheeler. I'm the CEO Executive Director for the Missouri Soybean Association and the Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council. First, I just want to make a quick comment about the video that was previously shown. That should be shown to all high school students, required in all high schools of the state. I want to make that point.
Thank you.
So again, thank you for having me. So both organizations represent around 37,000 soybean farmers of the state. A little bit of background as far as the association side, we lobby. On the merchandising council side, we educate and promote, and we do international and domestic research as well. As you can see, we're pretty proud of this building. Just a quick correction, it's going to be 14,000 square feet. On the northern end of the building, we're going to have an educational and conference center, and on the southern end of the building, it's going to be an office space. As far as some of the background from the building, we've looked at downtown. I know, Ms. Mayor, we've visited a little bit in reference to building sites, and I know some of the other individuals sitting at the bench. We tried. We looked at buildings downtown. It just wasn't going to work due to parking and what our needs were. We also own a 300-acre research farm in Boone County. We looked at the facility up there, but knowing what our needs were, we decided to keep it in Cole County. We're proud to stay here and stay close to the capital. We looked at other sites with other realtors here in the county, and we chose this site. It's going to be a fantastic site. We're pretty excited about it again. Our goal is to get not hundreds but thousands of folks through this property on an annual basis, and we've continually visit with other folks. And lastly, there will not be another building in the country like it. And that's our goal, is to make it very different for our industry. So open it up for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Wheeler? Councilman Graham?
I just have a statement. Gary, I know you said that you looked downtown and other places throughout Jeff City. I'm glad that you picked up and moved over to the 4th Ward. So, great selection, great choice.
Thank you.
All righty.
I'll second that as a 4th Ward resident myself. So, and it's a beautiful building, and really like how you're bringing the soybean, the natural part of it, and the education component is very nice too. So, all right. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak on this bill?
Thank you. Patrick Kramer, 2500 East McCarty Street. So Gary said, I just want to go for some technical aspects of the site. It's on South Country Club Drive. It's an arterial street that was upgraded in the 1980s. It currently carries between 9,000 and 10,000 cars a day. So we think this is a really ideal location for the proposed use. You already heard the surrounding use is a residential zone district, and after discussion with city staff, it was determined that the PUD zoning was the right fit for the site. The site has been used for various businesses through the years, including the current owner of the Cole County Anhydrous Association, construction and landscaping contractors. In your handouts, I provided a couple aerial photographs from 1996 and 2002, and Sonny, if you'd bring those up. You'll see this one. This is a 1996 photo, and it shows the site, and it's heavily in use with trailers and machinery and different types of equipment for the contractor that was using it at the time. The 2002 photo isn't quite as intense, but it's still using the photo in a similar manner. Both of these examples are not real visually appealing to a residential setting. So we think our proposed plan would fit and blend in nice with the neighborhood. So as Sonny said, 14,000 square foot building. There's some future plans for some further additions to the site, and we'll have the 2 parking lots on the east and west sides. Stormwater infrastructure will be built to complement the site. And since that's a pretty important aspect of the site, we are planning to construct a stormwater quality detention basin on the north side of the site. Details of that basin will be finalized with the final plan development, which will all conform to city standards. And we've also had some preliminary discussions with the Jeff City Country Club about stormwater issues and how it impacts their site, since they're the downstream property owner. And I'd like to add in closing, the Soybean Association envisions this site to be a real educational tool for the community. The current plan proposes to showcase the soybean and its benefits with interactive exhibits and equipment displays, with the intent to attract public and visitors from around the state. And we really think this is an exciting project for the city of Jefferson. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilman Hesse?
And maybe I missed it. Did you guys have a time frame on when this would be completed and you'd be moved in?
Sure. So a lot of you might know Kerry. He's in the back here, just in case there's any questions. But our goal is to break ground in June. If it was up to me, it would have been yesterday. But, knowing everything that's got to take place, our goal is to break ground in June, and we'd love to have each and every one of you there to help break the ground. So, good question. Thank you.
Further questions? Councilman Graham?
The conversation with the country club dealing with the stormwater and the basin, what other, they have any concerns with that?
So we did, as I said, we proposed the detention structure, and they did have some issues with the discharge piping on the site because there's really no stream to discharge it to on our site. So we've actually got some contacts over there, or made some relationships there that we're talking about maybe piping into a stream further up onto the JC Country Club property. So I think with those relationships at the country club, I think we'll be able to work through something to make it work for everybody. So.
Okay.
If I may add to that.
Yes.
So we did meet with the board at the country club, and they have put together a committee to work with myself and this gentleman and the architect as well to make sure that the stormwater is going to be flowing off the way that it should be. And we think the ultimate, the end goal is to be able to put a underground pipe to the creek right across their line and go right into the creek instead of going onto our property. So that's the goal. And we had held a happy hour there at the country club for all of the surrounding homes as well this past week to answer any questions. We had a great showing too. So
Okay. Glad you guys had that conversation because, as you all know, we're very concerned about stormwater, and especially with new buildings coming about. I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing and everything meets and exceeds city's expectation with stormwater. So thank you so very much for having those conversations.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak on this bill? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing portion and take up Bill 2017-112.
Okay.
Okay, so is there any further deliberation on the bill from council? Discussion? No? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Fitzwater,
Aye.
Graham,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Hussey,
Aye.
Kimna,
Aye.
Mahalovich, Prather,
Aye.
Schreiber,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Wiseman,
Aye.
Bill passes. Thank you. Item B, Bill 2017-113.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, providing for the voluntary annexation of real property contiguous to the present city limits into the City of Jefferson, Missouri, located in the 3500 block of Chapel Hill Road, and amending Section 1-17 of the Code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, defining the existing city boundary by adding one new subsection pertaining to the same subject.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As the clerk outlined, this ordinance would annex a piece of territory. It would adopt some zoning and also change our city boundary. Now, it's a small little piece of property. It's basically that road that is there in the center, right by almost by my mouse. But it's 3,500 block of Chapel Hill Road. It's approximately 1 acre in size. When that green piece of property that says R2 sort of at the end of it in the upper right-hand corner of the map, when that was annexed in 2015, the city decided that the street was not up to city standards and worked with Cole County and came up with the agreement that once Cole County brought the street up to city standards, that we would go ahead and pursue with the voluntary annexation so that the city would not be annexing a piece of property that all of a sudden we had to do maintenance on. The zoning would be the RA2, although it's kind of unnecessary to zone the street. We are going to zone it with the adjacent zoning. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Sanders? Okay, at this time, we'll open the public hearing portion. Is there anyone here to speak on Bill 2017-113? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing portion and take up this bill. Is there any council deliberation, discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Graham,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Hussey,
Aye.
Kimna,
Aye.
Mahalovich, Prather,
Aye.
Schreiber,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Wiseman,
Aye.
Fitzwater,
Aye.
Bill passes. Always good to see. Voluntary annexation. Thank you. Item 6, appointments by the mayor. And Mrs. Strope?
Thank you. We have 12 recommendations for appointments tonight. Just for the benefit of those at home, I'll read those. For Housing Authority, we have Diane Kane. For the Police Personnel Board, we have Kemp Shawn, Lisa Lehman, and Stephanie Scruggs. For the Public Transit Advisory Committee, Ann Bax and Sarah Eichels. For the Facade Improvement Committee, we have Michael Berenson and Bill Yarnell. For the University Extension Council, Melissa Wampler. For the TIF Commission, Ben Milsholt. For Parks and Recreation Commission, Liz Minton. And for Board of Adjustment, Jay Sieber.
Thank you. And we did have one more at the end that will not need to be appointed. We thought we had a seat for somebody that thought they would have to leave the commission that they did not end up having to leave. So I'd ask for a motion to approve appointments to accept the first 12 on this list. Is there a motion to accept the first 12?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Item 7, and thanks to everybody who serves on all the volunteers who serve on our boards and commissions. Presentations from staff, consultants, and invited guests. We're happy to have Stacy Button here this evening. Welcome, Stacy, Regional Economic Development, Director of Economic Development for the City of Columbia, and glad to have you here to give us an update on the Columbia Airport. I know there's some exciting things happening there, so thank you for coming to Jefferson City to present.
I appreciate that. All right. I wasn't sure do I have access to a cursor to? Is that if not, I think I can navigate it fine.
Okay,
But
we'll check and see. Oh, here we go. Sonny's got one. Mr. Sanders has one here.
I think that'll be all right. Thank you. All right. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with all of you this evening. I am the president of READY, which is a regional economic development organization for Columbia and Boone County. And I also serve as the economic development director for the City of Columbia, and the airport, Columbia Regional Airport, falls under my purview through the Economic Development Department. So, provided a handout. I think each of you have it. I want to reference the first page, and then I'll jump into just a few slides of some photographs. The chart that you have in front of you, across the top are emplanements, and just a quick reminder of airport terminology. Emplanements are those individuals that are at Columbia Regional Airport and they are departing and flying out to another destination. The portion of the graph or the chart down below are deplanements, and again, those are folks that are at another location and flying into Columbia. So I've highlighted two columns in particular. So first of all, on the far right side, 2017, we're really excited to report that we exceeded 88,000 emplanements in 2017. And came pretty close to 88,000 deplanements this last year. So all said, we served over 175,000 passengers in and out of Columbia Regional Airport. As of August 2017, that's when we added United Airlines. And so you can see month-over-month growth with the addition of that airline. I will draw your attention to one other column, 2007. You can see in the last 50 years that those are record low emplanements and deplanements. We just barely exceeded 9,000 emplanements in 2007 and not quite 9,000 deplanements. So in 2007, we served just short of about 18,000 passengers. So you can see over 10 years, we grew tenfold, in large part to your residents here in Jefferson City and Cole County. They contribute significantly to the passengers that we see out of COU. So we want to thank all of you for flying COU. So with that discussion about growth, it leads me to a couple photographs that I want to share with you on the screen. This is a picture of our ramp in the morning. And you can see there's actually 5 planes on there, kind of hard to point out, but we have 2 American airline planes that depart and 2 United planes. And we actually have on the far right of the screen a plane that is getting ready to depart. It's a charter flight through American for one of the university sporting teams. So this poses an interesting photograph. We have 4 planes that overnight each evening, and they actually depart within 51 minutes of each other in the morning. So that's unique. We have other flights that arrive and depart throughout the day, but we are pushing through 4 planes in a matter of 51 minutes between 5:30 and 6:30 in the morning. So with that comes some challenges. This is a picture of the main terminal lobby and the screening area. So as you can see, there are an awful lot of folks during that 51-minute window that are going through screening. So it's a good opportunity to remind all passengers that what used to be pretty much standard industry, arrive 1 hour before you depart. I want to encourage folks to arrive 1 hour before you board. On your tickets, you'll see board boarding time. If you can arrive an hour before then, you should be able to park adequately, get through screening and onto your gate, and not miss your flight. So we're doing the best that we can to sequence all the passengers during that window in the morning through the single screening line, but it does, there are crowds, so be prepared and be patient. Another photograph I wanted to share, this was taken in December actually over the holidays. We previously had about 600 parking spots at the airport. This past summer we actually added a little over 300, so we have 904 parking spots now. Over the holidays, quite honestly, at peak times we saw 1,200, 1,300 cars that parked. So we had cars along driveways and parking lots and under trees and wherever we could to accommodate it. The good news is it's a regional airport, it's local, and so the staff at the airport, we're actually going through the different lots, picking up passengers and their luggage and taking them directly to the terminal if they were parked further away. You don't get that kind of customer service at the major metros, so we're really proud of the staff and the work that they do there. So at any point in time, we're seeing 85 to 90% capacity in our parking lots. Again, it's a reminder to arrive early. If you want to carpool or be dropped off, that's great too. Let's be sustainable and employ that practice. So the next picture is just a quick one. This was actually taken over the summer. We don't have an updated aerial yet. If I can grab the cursor. This cursor is kind of a little wild. Well, the main concrete that you see from left to right on your screen is the primary runway 220. The portion on the upper left hand, that's the construction of our secondary runway, and we did complete that in November and had a grand opening, reopening of the 1331 runway. So that runway was lengthened and expanded, widened, and also we converted it from asphalt to concrete. So that allows us to accommodate larger planes, commercial flights that have greater weight requirements. So we actually have a secondary runway now to accommodate commercial traffic if for some reason the primary runway goes down for whatever need, if we have to do isolated repairs or things like that. So on to the main point of my presentation tonight, and you do have this picture in your packet to reference if it's easier to see it up close, and you have a bit more of a closer view with the last sheet that's in your packet. So what I wanted to talk with you about is the new terminal project. Obviously with this growth we need a new terminal to accommodate passengers. Our current terminal, the existing terminal, which you see right in the center of the slide, is about 16,000 square feet. And we know based on forecasted numbers that we need a terminal that's closer to 45 or 48,000 square feet. In the upper left-hand corner, I'll take you back about a year and a half, May of 2016. The consultant that the City of Columbia worked with provided 6 potential locations for a new terminal. In May of 2016, they whittled that down to 3, and one of the locations is the preferred site that you see in the upper left-hand corner. The second location was the existing terminal, which is again right in the center portion of the screen, and then there was a location on the far right side, more of a southern location, if you will, at the end of the primary runway. So those 3 locations have been studied. Everything has been submitted to FAA actually as of October last year, and FAA evaluated all the surveys and studies and airspace and everything associated with the sites. And the good news is in late November we received conditional approval for the preferred site, which is again up in the upper left-hand corner. That is a greenfield site, and the price tag for that location of the terminal is approximately $40 million. And so we have certainly continued to work on that location. That said, when we received conditional approval from the FAA, they cited a couple of caveats. One of them in particular was related to a timeline to get into construction. Because it's a greenfield site, FAA is requiring a full environmental assessment. Practice will show that'll take at least 12 months, could be as much as 18 months. We are not allowed to get into design until the environmental has passed review. So knowing that we would have to undergo an environmental 12 to 18 months before we could start design. Design is roughly a year, and then we could begin construction. So that set our timeline pretty far out there with that original location in the upper left-hand corner. The other caveat that FAA gave us was while they gave us conditional approval on that preferred site, they did indicate that the midpoint, which I'll try right here, the midpoint of the primary runway will still be the most efficient and effective use for the terminal as well as the existing infrastructure. So that's really important to note. So given those two caveats to the conditional approval, staff went back to the drawing board. We met with the FAA several times over the fall and actually most recently 2 weeks ago. And what staff has proposed is in the center of the screen, maybe. There's an orange box, so it's just southwest of the existing terminal. And so we have proposed that new site to FAA. And a couple of things are very favorable in regards to that location. First of all, the price tag. Talked about the original preferred site being about $40 million. Staff anticipates conservatively that we'll save at least $10 million by locating in this new site adjacent to the existing terminal. In large part because we don't have to do as much civil work, utilities already exist there, and also the infrastructure. As you can see, the primary runway, of course, and all the taxiways and ramps will not have to be constructed, so we can use existing infrastructure. So those reasons all create considerable savings. The other thing is this new location, again, just southwest of the existing terminal. We do not have to do a full environmental assessment. We can do an abbreviated environmental review called a CADEX, C-A-T-E-X. So a CADEX at most should take no more than 6 months, but probably less than 6 months. So knowing that we could start the CADEX as soon as we finish our planning documents, we could begin design in theory this year. So this calendar year, I should say. So that helps to push the timeline up to get us to a new terminal sooner. There are a couple of things with that site. It's not nearly as clean as the Greenfield site. There are two buildings, those are pointed out in red. One is an existing hangar that we are proposing to locate over, sorry, I can't navigate this mouse, right at the end of, right there. That does keep general aviation separate from commercial aviation, which is an important priority with the FAA. There is also another smaller brick building right now that houses just a few federal employees as well as equipment. And so we're going to build just south of it a smaller building to move the equipment into. So with that, we're going to begin relocation of the hangar as well as what needs to be done with that other brick building, and that'll help clear the site so that we can begin due diligence. So that was probably a lot to digest in a very short amount of time, but we feel very confident that this new location will be able to accommodate the growth. It's the same size footprint as we've proposed. It allows for expansion based on opening day and forecasted numbers, and we believe that we can save taxpayers considerable amount of money on that. So we're excited to move forward on this, and city staff right now is embarking on that piece. So I guess with that, I'll take questions, or hopefully I didn't talk too fast, but.
Thank you, Mrs. Button. It's very exciting for Jefferson City and Columbia, Mid-Missouri to see this, and it's good to know. We hear about the updates in construction. It's good to know the facts of what's going on. It's exciting for council and all of us to hear. And I used to know the number, but there was a time when they said how many passengers were from Jefferson City. Was it about a third, or what was the?
It's about 21%. That ebbs and flows a little bit. Columbia makes up about 29%. So between our two cities, nearly half of all the passengers are utilizing COU. The other half do come from the other surrounding communities and counties. So our entire catchment area is a little over 700,000 flying passengers. So we do draw from a large region, but both Columbia and Jefferson City certainly contribute substantially.
I was impressed at the
Yeah.
large number of Jefferson
Yes,
City
very much.
that uses this, so it's great for our citizens.
Yeah.
Are there any council comments or questions this evening? Councilman Hussey?
I'm just curious, is this a second terminal or a brand-new terminal? Like, will it replace, or will you still use the first?
That's a good question. The existing terminal, the City of Columbia will continue to own. We have the option to lease it if we wish, perhaps to general aviation. We know that we have some interested partners who would like to utilize that facility. At the same time, you can see that the orange square butts up right next to the existing terminal, and if we ever needed to expand further, we could take down the existing terminal and expand just to the north. So we're kind of keeping, I guess, it flexible in that regard, but it's not entirely ADA compliant, so we do have to work on some aspects if we're going to continue to utilize it or lease it. So, thanks.
Any other council questions? And that's a good question. I've wondered it and didn't think to ask it.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So, and also Councilman Mahalovich is the
Yes.
liaison to the group that meets for the Columbia Airport, and he really was excited to hear your presentation. And
Yeah.
the good thing is it is recorded, so he can watch it.
Can do.
And still see it. So I appreciate that very
Yeah,
much.
we thank you for his service on the Airport Advisory Board. We do have a meeting on Wednesday if anybody wants to join us at 3 o'clock at City Hall in Columbia.
Great. Well, we appreciate you coming here
Great.
and giving us this update. So, all right.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Thank you so much. Have a
Appreciate
nice
it.
evening.
Thank you. All right. The next item, item 8, we have announcements by mayor, council, and staff. And remember to check out jeffersoncitymo.gov. So if you want to tune into the meeting tonight, like Councilman Mahalovich, I'm sure is, then you can go there and also check our calendar for our committee meetings. I'll start with my announcements. On Saturday, there was I'll start with last Monday night was the school board meeting. So they invited me to attend and just give a city update, and that was exciting to be there and talk about what's going on in Jefferson City. So I also asked for their board chair, Steve Bruce, to come and return the favor and come here and speak at one of our meetings. They had the findings from some of their community meetings that they held, and so when I went to the podium, I asked their board if they would be sure to share those findings with us. So when they get their written reports, I'll make sure that we get those at the city and share them with council members as well, so that we can be up to speed on all the feedback that they received at several of the community meetings that they had. And one of the main questions was, what can the community do to improve relations? So looking forward to getting that information. And speaking of Jefferson City Public Schools, they had a groundbreaking for the new high school on Saturday, and several were in attendance there that are here today. I know we had Councilman Schreiber and David, and also Mr. Kroll were there. So, and there may have been some others too. And we also had our own Chief Schofield, his son Brock, got to have a speech there on behalf of the students of the future. And I have to say I was very impressed with him getting to the podium and talking really as well as he did in such a large group. I think the contractor said they've already got him hired, and I think he's only in 7th grade. So I was kind of thinking the same thing. If he wants to, I could see him being a future leader here, sitting in one of these seats on the council someday too. But that was impressive. And if you haven't already heard, the new name is Capital City High School, and currently they're voting online for mascot and school colors, and they're completely taking community input on the name of the school, and also on when they chose the name of the school, and then also the future colors, and so that was very exciting. A few other announcements. The Human Relations Commission met on Friday, and I didn't attend, but Councilman Henry may give us an update on that, but wanted to note they do have an email address. So it is JCMO HRC. So JCMO for JCMO Human Relations Commission, JCMOHRC@gmail. So therefore the public can easily be in contact with them. Also, the USS Jefferson City submarine crew will visit March 1st through 5th, and we will have them attending our city council meeting on March 5th. So really looking forward to having the crew of the USS Jefferson City here. And also want to thank our legislators. The House passed a bill last week to convey a piece of land at the Capitol for our riverfront access project. So that's exciting news moving forward. So at this time, I'll turn it over to council if there are other announcements. And Councilman Henry, was there anything else to report on the Human Relations Commission?
Actually, I wasn't there. I was out sick.
Oh, you were sick.
So,
Well, I know we had a couple other council
but I know-
members there.
Councilwoman Ward and I were there on your behalf, Larry. We took care of you. We got you back. They're making progress. They're kind of still in that formative stage of bylaws and mission statement and trying to, I think, chart their course of work. So they've kind of assigned some of the members to take a deeper look at some bylaws and structural things. And they'll meet again on March 9th, that Friday at 8 a.m. to dig a little deeper in some of that. And then March 16th will be their regular meeting at 8 a.m. to hopefully get to work. So good people, full crew, but still in that formative stage.
All right, thank you very much. Any other council announcements or committee meeting announcements coming up? None. Oh, yes, Councilman Henry.
This upcoming Thursday, Public Works and Planning Committee will meet across the hall here, 7:30. Matt, did you have anything else to add to that, or just? All right, full agenda.
All right, Thursday morning. And on that note, I believe Public Safety, or Councilman Graham.
Yes, Public Safety, we've canceled our meeting for this Thursday due to the overlapping of the committee, so we decided to cancel our meeting.
Okay. Councilman Prather?
Did you mention anything about the MSP Advisory Committee?
No, forgot to mention that. And we did have a meeting of the first Missouri State Penitentiary Community Partners, and that went very well. It was just kind of the same thing where we had our very first meeting and moving that forward. And we are meeting on a Friday in March, and I don't have the date in front of me, but we'll check the calendar. And that is important because the public is invited to that meeting as well. So we do look forward to having people come to that. So did we have the date? Anyway, and it'll be a Friday in March. I think it's about towards the end of March. Okay. But we'll check the calendar and make sure on our jeffersoncitymod.gov it will list all of our agendas and meetings for committees. All right, anything else? Okay, and item 9, our Lincoln University Student Representative Update. We have Mrs. Carolyn Wanjaro.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As far as Lincoln University goes, the Campus Activity Board is planning a play called The Night in Harlem, which is to take place on February 23rd. And the play basically highlights a historic moment for the black community, which is the Renaissance era. And it's a night where, students get to showcase talent through the play, and everyone is encouraged to, come and attend. And also, I met briefly with the Student Government Association President, Mr. Curtis Budgeon, in regards to promoting the UPass program for students to have them, kind of get accustomed to or taking advantage of the fact that it is there for them. It is not for anybody else. It's there. It's been provided for the students to take advantage of. And so I'm going to be attending the SGA meeting on tomorrow to further discuss ways in which we can have students come out. And Mr. Mark reached out to me last week, and he and I scheduled a meeting for next week where we can brainstorm ways in which we can promote the UPass program.
Fantastic. Well, that is great. I'm glad you've reached out to Mark Maymert, and we're fortunate to have you so that you can help us to encourage students to use that new program.
Thank you.
Also want to congratulate you. You were on the front page of the News Tribune last week, and you were helping out. That was a community effort where you were helping people in the community?
Yes, we had on Saturday was Kindness Act Day, where you had to do something to show, that you were kind to someone. And so on Thursday, we had members from the Primrose assisted living community, and they came out, and we had a good time.
Well, good for you for doing that in the community. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mrs. Wanjaro? And Carlos, any other further updates for Lincoln?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I do want to say congratulations to the Lincoln University men basketball team and to Coach John Mosley. This is their third straight winning season, which has not been done since 1979. So they have a home basketball game against Missouri Western this Thursday at 7:30. And if they win, when they win this game, they will have a first round host the following Tuesday. So congratulations to the Lincoln University men's basketball team and to my colleagues here and the people who are listening to me. If we can travel 3 hours to watch another school play, I hope that you can travel at least 10 minutes because everything's within 10 minutes in Jefferson City, that you can come over on this Thursday night and support the Lincoln University men's basketball team. The place will be rocking. We need your support. If we win this, we will host a first round the following Tuesday. But another kudos to the men's basketball team. 11 out of the 14 young men all are on the dean's list. They have an average GPA of a 3.5. And that's the true meaning of student athlete. Student first and then athlete. So I'm very proud of those young men on the Lincoln University men's basketball team and ask for your support this Thursday at 7:30. A 10-minute drive, $5 to get in. Come out and support your home team. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Graham. That's fantastic. Proud of our students. All right. Item 10, presentations from the gallery on specific bills. Do we have anyone here this evening? Okay. Item 11, consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 12, bills introduced, 2017-114.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending Chapter 19 of the Code of the City of Jefferson by modification of portions to match existing parking and loading conditions in downtown.
Mr. Marash?
Thank you. As Clerk indicated, it's just a cleanup of our traffic code basically in the downtown area to match what's signed and striped there already. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. 2017-115.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending Chapter 19, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule G, Stop Intersections of the Code of the City of Jefferson by the addition of Terabella Drive and Amador Avenue before entering Ventura Avenue.
Mr. Marash.
Thank you. This is a request that a resident made before the Traffic and Transportation Commission this last month. The request was to add stop signs at two T intersections along Ventura with Terabella and Amador.
Any questions? All right. 2017-116.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a grant agreement with MoDOT for public transit operating assistance.
Mr. Marash.
Thank you. Again, as Clerk indicated, state operating grant with MoDOT for our transit system. We would get a $11,415 grant from those folks. It went down from last year a little bit. Last year we had about a little over $15,000, but every little bit helps. So this would be a grant agreement to capture those funds.
Great. Any questions? Councilwoman Wiseman?
Is there a timeline on this? Do we need to suspend the rules and move on this?
No time.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay. Thank you. 2017-117.
Amending the 2017-2018 budget by reclassifying the recreation specialist part-time with benefits position to program manager full-time exempt position within the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Mr. Spalding?
Thank you. This would be to reclassify, as the clerk said, this recreation specialist as a part-time position into a full-time position, program manager. We found that this position was a full-time position. We feel like this needs to go back to that with the amount of work needed to recruit good staff, as well as the winter months now having the link open. This person fills in very nicely there as well.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. 2017-118.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with HDR Inc. for travel demand modeling and visioning consultant services.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization is the originator of this bill. It would provide a professional services contract that would result in a travel demand model, a recommended list of transportation projects that can feed into our capital improvement program, and planning activities that we'll be able to leverage into other planning activities. The funding is 80% of a federal highway grant. The total cost is $150,000. The city is responsible for approximately 15% of that over the course of the contract. Cole County participates at a level of another 5%. So the fiscal impact's only $22,500 to the city, and it's already in the city budget and also the Campo budget. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. 2017-119.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an $86,600 agreement with Stockman Construction for the pump station floodproofing project.
Mr. Morash.
Thank you. Again, a construction contract with Stockman Construction. This is a wastewater, through our wastewater division contract. Would be flood-proofing our Green Meadows pump station by adding some flood-proof doors and hatches into the facility. Last spring it was flooded out, caused some impacts to the surrounding area. We were able to get a FEMA reimbursement for this, up to 75% of the money we spend, so that would be roughly $65,000 of the contract would come back through FEMA.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Bills pending, 2017-111.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute an amendment to a grant agreement between the City of Jefferson and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the purpose of adding project time to the runway rehabilitation project at the Jefferson City Memorial Airport.
Mr. Morash.
Thank you. And just as the clerk indicated, this would just amend the time frame for the grant agreement. The project's been done, but now that all the paperwork's put together, we actually need to extend the time frame to recoup our last installment from MoDOT on it.
Any questions or deliberation from council? Roll call, please.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Kimna.
Aye.
Mahalovich. Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Wiseman.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Bill passes. We've taken up 112 and 113. Nothing on the informal calendar. No resolutions. Item 16, presentations from the gallery on other topics. We don't have anyone here. Item 17, any council and staff discussion of presentation topics. Item 18, any new business? Any unfinished business? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, we are adjourned. Happy President's Day.
No.
Oops. What?